Hello book friends, what's up? How's it going? If you're new here, welcome. My name is Kat. My channel here is all about the romance novels that I read. I love to bring them to you, do a little review, tell you what I liked about it, give you book recommendations, and also support the wonderful authors that I read. I read some amazing authors and I find new authors all the time. And my authors that I've loved forever, which this is a book by one of those authors, they're constantly upping their game. Their craft is evolving, and I love being on that journey with them, reading all the books. So today's book is called Into Temptation by Monica James. It is the second book in the Deliver Us from Evil. I think it's going to be a trilogy, maybe a series. I don't know the right word for that. In any case, I have read Monica forever. I've talked about her many times on my channel. I've done several videos on her books, and actually she wrote one of my very favorite series ever, way back, one of her first series, which is the Surrender series. I forgot to put it up. I actually own the paperbacks and I wanted to put it up in the background. I forgot, darn it. Anyway, so I have been a fan of Monica's forever. I love that she has been flexing her dark romance muscles, and this is another dark, suspenseful romance for her. And wow, okay, like just let's get right into it. But let me say, of course, I've got Rue and Macy in the room with me. You might hear some crinkling, you might hear some background noise because they love to play when I'm sitting in here making my videos. As I'm standing here right now, Rue is climbing on things. She's our kitten. Well, she's getting old now. She's like 7 months old. So anyway, you might hear that in the background. I apologize, oops, like that if it's distracting, but they're my babies and they love me, and so they're always with me. Okay, let's talk about Into Temptation. Note right now that, like I said, it's the second book in the series, so you might get spoilers if you haven't read the books. It's not my intention ever to give spoilers on my channel, but know that going in, this is book 2. I'm just gonna go for it, assuming, like me, you have either read it or intend on reading it. I'm not gonna give too much away, don't worry. The book picks up literally where book 1 ended. Of course, it was a cliffhanger, so I was like, give me that book. I need book 2. And let me tell you, my stomach hurt just knowing that I was opening the book, getting ready to read it. I have really liked the dark, suspenseful romance that Monica has brought us. There's something really extra special about Punky. Puck Kelly is the main character, and he goes by Punky. There's something really special about him. He is flawed. He is violent. He is a lot, but yet his heart is right there. And as much as he goes with the vengeful side of him in life, his heart takes up equal room. And oh my gosh, I really loved him. The other character of hers in the kind of dark room that she's been in that reminded me, they're nowhere near the same, but yet they are. I don't know, I connected to them. I connected to Punky the way I connected to Saint in her All the Pretty Things series, trilogy, whatever. So there was something really special about Saint as well. Punky is like that with me. I really do adore him. I really do. He scares me, most certainly, but you read his heart, and I loved that about him. So as the book starts, Punky is just getting out of jail. He's been there for 10 years. He went to jail, well, we know why he went to jail. I won't give that part away. And now he's out because a friend of his was able to get him out. She's now a lawyer and worked really hard with his sister Hannah to get him out. Life has gone on, and That's the hard part about Punky, is that even though, of course, 10 years has passed, and he knows that, he also recognizes he doesn't really know what he's walking into, and he doesn't really feel like he's going to have anybody. He doesn't really feel worthy of the loyalty that his certain family members and friends show him. Everyone should have certain family members and friends like Punky has. At one point, Cammy, who's baby doll, his love interest, says, "Punky is hope." Oh my gosh, hit me like a ton of bricks. She's so right. There's this quality about him that she has written effortlessly, in my opinion, that just shows through in all the relationships that he has, and even the business relationships he has. Everyone is willing to step up with him because they know he's honest, loyal, he means what he says, he backs everyone else up that backs him up, and that he's righteous in a lot of ways. He delivers justice, but he would also deliver the same justice to himself. And he does. And he does that time and time again. He goes on the cross for the ones that he loves time and time again. He's just really a great guy. And wow, the cover, I talked about it in my other video. It kind of needs no words, really. It's freaking amazing. And I really felt like the cover model and the makeup and the photography, and Monica's talked about what a process that was a bit. She nailed it. It's an all-encompassing feeling you get in the book with just looking at the cover. Punky is just, I really freaking liked him a lot. So, okay, I kind of got off topic, not topic, I kind of took a little segue. Let's get back. So he has gotten out of jail. He had a friend help him get out of jail. And he's stepping back into the world feeling like, okay, what am I going to do now? I know I got to do a couple things to right the wrongs that have been had, but he's surprised when everyone shows up for him. And Hannah, his sister, is there, and she's like, okay, here we go. Like, what are we doing? Like, you're in my life now. I have you back as my brother. I'm here for you. Like, let's go. What's the next step? And this is something Punky said right off the bat. Forgive me because it's a little long, but it's one of the first scenes. It really showed me where Punky was. I felt every single moment of these words. I was in tears. I just could envision it perfectly as he's saying it, as he's feeling it, as Monica wrote it. So it's a little long, but it's very worth it. I run my fingers over the engravings, wondering if the initials of the lovers inside the hearts are still in love. They clearly wanted to make their union known by others, but nothing lasts forever. Once I'm done with the tour inside the castle, I walk out the back door and into the vast fields. I stand still and tip my face to the heavens. So many memories crash into me. I loved it back here. It's where my mom's gardens were. The rose brooch tingles in my pocket, and on instinct, I dig my hands into my pocket, fingering over it. I'll replant them for you, Mom, I vow aloud. I'll make this place what it once was. I walk through the grounds, taking in the unkept state. It hurts to see it this way because the castle's been in my family for generations. It angers me that Sean, a Kelly, doesn't seem to give a F about that. He's allowed it to wither away and instead use it for his corrupt ways, like meeting Ethan here. My jaw clenches at the thought. I make my way to the stable yard building. The gardens are overgrown and littered with bottles and feg butts. When I come up over the hill and see it, I sigh, overwhelmed. This place was a sanctuary, the place where I could grieve for the life I never wanted to live. I walk the same paths I did 10 years ago, but so much has changed. That boy didn't know who he was destined to become. I'm surprised the door is still intact. It's unlocked, of course, so I open it and peer inside. The interior is different, but the feelings are still the same. I'm home. Walking into my gaff, I stand in the middle of the room, taking everything in. My possessions are long gone, but the memories will never fade. I close my eyes, and all I see is Baby Doll. I can hear her laughter, her breathless moans as we lost ourselves in one another over and over again. I remember the way she tested me, refusing to back down. She was the strongest person I knew. Her scent, her taste is amplified in here, as this was our private oasis where the outside world didn't exist. It was us versus them. I miss her so effing much. I never allowed myself to think of her because when I did, all I felt was this gaping hole in my chest. I never knew what love was, but now I know that I loved Baby Doll with every fiber of my being. There wasn't a specific event or time when I fell for her. It was simply inevitable. Being apart from her is like missing a part of me, and now that I know she isn't my sister, I can't stop thinking about how she made me feel. I want that feeling back. I want her, and just like that, I get my wish, and I can finally breathe again after 10 long years. Hi, Punky. Oh my God, it was so good. But again, like, I'm even a little teary right now. He's walking back into the unknown. The book is a lot about Punky avenging his mom and who he thought was his father, Connor, his death, and then also what has happened against his family members that are around him now, meaning Hannah, his sister, Ethan, and Eva, his sister and brother, his best friends Rory and Kian, and then of course Cammy / Baby Doll. Though they've been wronged as well. So not only did he spend time in prison, but they have been wronged as well. And a lot of this book is him, like I said, finding his place in that new world 10 years later and making sure that they are safe, because literally no one is safe. It's quite violent. It's, as you would expect a true mafia kind of world book to be, series to be. That sounded weird. You know what I'm trying to say. So just be prepared for that. It didn't bother me. I read a lot of dark romance, so that was fine with me. I got it, and it's true to Punky. But also, the other part of this is not so much Punky and Cammy finding their way to each other, but finding out how to be together. And because 10 years has passed. And when Cammy said this, I was like, oh shit. It's from Punky's perspective, and he's having a conversation with Cammy. A piece of me died when you left. I've been searching for it since you were gone. I need to tell you something, I interrupt, unable to stomach her pain a second longer. But what she says next changes everything forever. I met someone, she blurts out, lowering her eyes. I'm sorry, we can't be together, and he's a good man. I'm sorry, Punky, he makes me happy. She throws herself into my arms, sobbing into my chest guiltily. Her words play over and over in my mind as I try to digest what she shared. He's a good man. I was like, oh no, no. Punky didn't want to see anyone when he was in prison. He made it hard on anyone. He kind of closed himself off. But I was like, dude, it's been 10 years. And then I'm like, oh, Cammy, how could you do that? I was very upset about all that. I loved that we got chapters from her point of view, because I always like when we get dual perspective. It's not all like that. Most of it's Punky. But something she said really sparked an inner debate in my head. And I'm curious what you think. Cammy says, chivalry is sexist. And I was like, really? Is it? And I really thought a lot about it, because I like when, okay, real life and in books, I like when, like, my husband opens the door for me. I have hopefully ingrained in my son to treat his significant other like they're special. So I hope he opens doors for her. I hope he puts his hand at the small of her back when they're walking, or guides her away, like, what am I trying to say? So I grew up, my dad is very chivalrous. He really set the bar super high, which I didn't know until I started dating. And yeah, it's glaring, the guys that weren't. My husband was. So not to the extent that my dad was, but as my dad's daughter, and having two sisters, he treated us in certain ways that what I then learned to be chivalrous. I like that. But it's 2021. So I'm like, is chivalry sexist? I really had to think long and hard about that. And I'm not really sure how I feel about that statement. I would love to hear what you think. And do you think chivalry is like gone? Do you like when you are, okay, within reason, like let's not get too deep, but you know what I'm saying? I'm anxious to hear. Leave it down in the comments below what you think about that. I love the connection that Punky and Cammy had and how he loves so deeply the people that he loves. That was just, like score another one for Punky in my book. And I loved how Cammy and Punky's connection was still so strong once they get to the point where they've kind of figured out they might be able to be together. And at one point, Punky says, "No one stands in our way. This is finally the time for us to be Puck and Cammy." And I was like, nope. Just the fact that Monica put that in there, where she put it, I was like, oh crap. That means something bad is coming. This is another part from Cammy that I really loved, that really showed me her true colors with Punky. Tears leak from my eyes because I know I'm being unreasonable, but the thought of Punky facing Sean alone tears me apart inside. I want to be there to protect him just as he wants to protect me. If this is the end, I want to be there with him. I know the odds aren't in our favor, and I'm scared. I'm scared if Punky goes alone, I'll never see him again. A guttural sob robs me of air, and I fall to my knees in the middle of the grassy field and cry the tears I've tried so hard to keep at bay. I cry for my sister, who doesn't want a part in this war. I cry for Hannah and Ethan, for those lives who have been destroyed. I cry for Rory, for hurting him when I never wanted to. I cry for every innocent man and woman who has suffered because of this feud. But most of all, I cry for Punky and me, because all we wanted was to live a simple life. But that was taken away from us by monsters who still haunt our dreams. Oh my God, right? Oh, and you know what? I realized that I just misspoke. Eva is Cammy's sister, not Puck's/Punky's sister. But she's there and she's intertwined with all of them, so I kind of forgot that for a second. So I apologize, I misspoke on that. You are on the edge of your seat in this book. And of course, it ends in another cliffhanger, and there's another book coming. Kind of makes my stomach hurt. I love how wrapped up and how deep this story is, because there's this edge to the story and to Punky that you literally feel while you're reading. And I love when I can get immersed in a book like that, when all of my senses get involved like they do with Monica's books. So I would highly recommend you grab Thy Kingdom Come and Into Temptation. The series, or the trilogy, is the Deliver Us from Evil. So what's the next one gonna be? Something in the Our Father, or I'm Catholic, it's the Our Father. I can't wait to see what that cover, that title, and where Monica is gonna end their story. So stay tuned for that video. The book's not out yet, coming soon though. Let me know if you have read Thy Kingdom Come or Into Temptation. I would love to hear your thoughts. As always, I welcome you to come over to my social media, which is Kat Reads Romance on Facebook and Instagram. And also, I'd love to have you come join my group on Facebook. It's called Kat's Romance Readers. Don't forget, I always put a direct to Amazon link in the description box below to this book that I'm talking about, always in every video. It's a bit.ly link because those Amazon links are just so long, but just know when you click on it, it takes you right to Amazon. I would love for you to take a second to consider subscribing, and also please give the video a thumbs up. When you do that, it not only helps my channel, but it will help this video get shown to more people here on YouTube. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. I'll see you soon. Bye.